Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, it's Friday today of the week. We turn to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in a map, and they've gone with this one. Originally a request map from the retired Mandalorian over on our bustling Discord channel, this map is from a creator who has their own YouTube channel, a little bit on the small side, 500 subscribers is a good start, and they kind of specialise in things like Planet Zoo and that kind of similar kind of game genre to Cities Skylines. That said, they have actually got a Cities Skylines video, which is the time-lapse video of the making of this particular map, and it's quite good to watch. It is, however,
it's my first map.
That's right, and we do have a few little problems. So hopefully, by watching this video, hopefully the creator will be able to iron out those little issues. But before we do any of that, I've got a little issue for you to deal with. Can you guess yet? That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people, and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Berganor by Hiysta. Yes, the loading screen thumbnail is taken by night, and it's really dark up there in Berganor by night, apparently. Let's have a look at that start square. Start square, plenty of buildable space, just a hint of water for access to, road and rail, and a couple of flashing T symbols, which we'll talk about a bit later on. Terrain height is a pretty flat map, so for those of you that like flat buildable spaces, it's not perfectly flat, but it is pretty flat. We have resources which are quite light. Not every map has to be about strong resources, though. It's sometimes just about having a nice city. Fishing industry, sorry, if you have Sunset Harbour, it looks just like that. Off to the workshop, what do we need? Well, there is no DLC required today, you'll be pleased to know, those of you that have the base game. There's a short description, including the link to things like the custom theme, which is Daft's autumn theme, Laviante Lut as well, Ultimate Eye Candy, and the Shore Pine Trees are there. But we do have a one-click collection and a link to the YouTube channel. Do go and check them out. I'll link this page in down below as always. Okay, here's your requirements list. I've got the old version of Daylight Classic. Those of you that are wondering why it's not subscribed to, I've just got the old version. And Shore Pines and Ultimate Eye Candy. And Theme Mixer 2 is only there so that we can adjust the darkness of the water, which I have done. Right, let's start off with the obvious. I need to see the elephant in the room, but I know somebody from France who'll be... I'm not in this video. No, you're not. No, you're not. But these two-lane highways are. These are Network Extension 2 highways, and without them, subscribe to, your map will be broken. And unfortunately, that means that we have to assume that this map will be broken for you. So, it's not the best of starts, sadly. I'll talk about the trees in a moment. Before we talk about the trees, let's have a look at the big old bridge. Everybody loves a big old bridge. We have a shipping route under this bridge, and that bridge needs to get to that height to allow for the ships to go under. And it's, I mean, it's not a pretty bridge, is it? But it does the job. And that's kind of all we really need. A bridge that does the job, and it doesn't clip or anything like that. So I think there's some credit. It's not the most exciting, most polished bridge that we've seen, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. In terms of trees, now the Shore Pines by Grey Flame is the one required subscription off the workshop. However, this map also uses the leafy tree set, the regular bushes, the fluffy grasses, and the, I can't read my own handwriting here, the common tree set. That's the one, common tree, P. Delmo's common tree set. So we have to assume that most of the foliage that you see on today's map will be missing. We have to assume that. You may well have these things subscribed to, but I have to assume that you don't because you haven't been told that you need them. And it was just by chance that I had them. If I didn't have them subscribed to, they wouldn't appear for me. And that's why they show. I'm only showing them because I have them already. If I didn't have them subscribed to, they would be missing from this, and I would still be talking about them being missing. We're not going to see it with these trees missing because I'm not reloading it with them unsubscribed to show what it actually looks like. But just imagine. Just use your imagination. I'm sure you can do that. I think you probably still have one. Probably. Look underneath the sofa cushions or down the back of the sofa. That's normally where the imagination has fallen to. Right by the doofer for switching the TV over. Okay, right. That start square intersection, the main intersection, the only one you've got. Got a little bit of terrain glitching in the corner there. And trumpet intersection, perfectly adequate for its needs, leading into a perfectly adequate start. I mean, this is going to build a city. I would say there is as good a place as any. Got a little bit of a tree on the bridge there, and there's another one or two dotted around. Just one or two. It's not the world's worst for trees actually on the highway. We have, however, got these disconnected sections. One there, one little bit further up. This stretch of highway is obviously running backwards. It is in the start square, and we've got another one there which is running backwards at some point along there. It just needs reversing. However, as these are in the start square, while it is broken, so therefore the map is technically broken. They are free to update and free to fix using the vanilla game rules. So yes, it's broken, but it's easily fixable. So it's you give it one, you take away from the other. If it was outside of the 25 tiles, then that becomes a difficult thing, because if you're playing a vanilla rules game, you're gonna have to expand into that tile by buying the tile to be able to fix it. But that sat in the start square is not really going to be an issue for anybody, apart from the inconvenience of having to fix it. It's kind of like, I guess you could kind of like say it's like trees on the road in the start square. You can easily remove them without having to buy a tile, but you still got to physically do that, and you shouldn't have to. But we have seen bigger sins by more famous creators than Hiysta. So I think we can probably just say, do you know what? This map's all about the playability. We've got a big buildable space to work with. We've got some Nordic style mountains, and again, credit for this one. Berganor, I mean, makes me think of Bergen in Norway, and it makes me think of there you go, Bergen, Norway. Yeah, that's why it makes sense. This is the kind of vibe that they've gone for. The mountains are all drawn by hand, which again we will see if you go across their channel. You can watch the time lapse of this map being built, and it's actually quite impressive. Got a bit of a ditch on the right hand side there, which I don't really buy into, but we'll let it go. Outside of the 25 tiles, not really that worried too much. So yeah, hand drawn mountains that look not stupid, because the amount of times we will see stupid looking mountains, there's credit for that. The map as a whole, though, I'm just not really feeling the dynamics of it. You know, how would this thing have evolved? It does feel like it's been built to build a city on, which, to be fair, that's what it's been done for. And you can't fault that. But forget the trees and the water. Second half of the show, okay? We'll talk. I'm just talking about quality. There are standards and qualities, and they're coming after this intermission.
Are you having trouble keeping roundabouts around when you connect other roads? Do you wonder how on earth do other people manage this? Then you need BonBonB's Guide to Perfect Roundabouts. Click the information button now.
And back to the shipping routes at Berganor by Hiysta. Okay, shipping routes. Yeah. We're going to go through the big old bridge, and the big old bridge is definitely high enough for the ships to go through, even the vanilla cruiser. However, we have this angle here, which means any ships coming down or wanting to go to the other side would do a sharp turn. We want a kind of other shipping triangle in there. And we did have some luck while I was recording the show. We came across these two boats that wanted to simultaneously do sharp angled turns to get back to the edge of the map. It removes some of the believability of the map. And so, yeah, a little shipping triangle there would be, I would go for a big shipping triangle, actually. Quite a wide one. I wouldn't even have the ships go anywhere near that bridge that don't want to go near the bridge. We've got the same issue there with another shipping triangle could be used. I don't even know why we've even got a split there. Why just have the one connection on that side? Water flow up here. We do have water flow coming up here past the start square. It's fairly light, but it's water flow running into a dead end. This river isn't a working river, which means you could end up with quite a lot of pollution being pushed up into this little alcove up here. So just something to consider when you're actually doing your map build. Right, the map as a whole, there's a lot to like about it. I'm liking the shapes of the mountains, the islands. Good shape to the islands. They've got a real nice. The theme and LUT work really very nicely as well. And of course, having all of the trees really do make the map come alive. Although, of course, we have to assume 80% of them are missing. The actual tree painting, though, I'm not really buying into the forests. The mix of trees doesn't really work for me, and do you know what, I do need to do some sort of tutorial on believability of forests at some point, because it's alright me saying it doesn't work for me, but what does work for me? A few trees on the cliff face there, and it looks like there's rubble falling down off the cliff face, so I would like to have seen that thinned out from trees, have few of them on that little rubbly cliff face. I mean, maybe one or two that get hanging in there, but it just doesn't seem to have been affected. Do like the mountains. The mountains look great on this particular map. They just look right. I think there's a lot of credibility for the work that Hiysta has done into those mountains, and of course all of the buildable space as well. That's adds into the gameplay. You want to get in here and do a decent sized city. I mean, a proper grid city. Why not? Why not? There's a lot to say for that. Outside the 25 tiles, if you want to come up into these mountains, do like a little mountain town up here, you could do that as well. It certainly would work for that. We've got a big old lake there. Now, speaking of lakes, I think there's a lake around the corner. Yeah, we did say we're going to come back and have a look at some submerged trees. Yeah, there's a few down here. Yes, they have got their trunks on, and they're having a nice little splash around, a little holiday. Very nice. Holiday for trees. Where do the trees go on holiday? I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere. Right, okay, well, what we'll do is I think we'll just end. We've got the rivers. The rivers aren't working rivers, but they do break up the map. And breaking up the map is going to make for a more interesting shape to whatever city you go for. So, yeah, okay, let's head back to the start square, where we do have the little broken intersection. And we have got an asset of the day, which is more for a desert map, but do you know what? I don't plan that far ahead. Let's have a look at it anyway. This one, Desert Spring Medical Center by DieHardHunter. Now, I remember when DieHardHunter was the go-to creator for all vehicles, and then they're branched out into buildings as well. And this just goes to show that they are very much a jack of all trades. They can make pretty much anything. A lovely little small town medical center for your desert city, or your small desert town, I would say. Yeah, that's what. Remember the old the Arrowhead Valley with Strix and Flux and Fresh Popcorn? Yeah, this would work very nicely in that. Anyway, factoids, because we are here and we have factoids. Having survived trench warfare during the First World War, a South African monkey was awarded a medal and promoted to the rank of corporal. And why not? You know, there are definitely some officers that don't have the brains of a monkey. Not necessarily in the South African forces, they're quite elitist. Anyway, the Desert Spring Medical Center by DieHardHunter. Today's asset of the day. And so back to Berganor by Hiysta. And what a map for building a big old grid city on. But what do you think of it? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Click the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple, or even a Patreon account. So, what am I going to make of that map though? Well, it's a really tough one to grade because aesthetically, it looks okay. I mean, the mountains are strong. I like the theme and LUT. The whole thing makes it pop, and it's actually not too bad to look at, is it? But we've got a lot of trees that are missing, or would be missing, if you hadn't subscribed to them, and they're not in the lists. So while I was going to go down the middle with a 3 stars, a solid 3 stars, because it's okay without being outstanding, I've got to go for a low 3. Detailing. Right, I was going to shout for a middle 3 again, but then we've got a few drowned trees and that broken bit of intersection. But then we have the assets that are missing, which is a detailing issue. So I'm going to have to push it down to a high 2. Gameplay potential. Now, this one, I was going to go from middle to high 3. I think that's a fair shout for this one, middle to high 3. But Network Extensions 2 means that the map is technically broken if you don't have it. And because it's not listed, it has to get 1 star. I hate doing it, but that's the rules. Berganor by Hiysta is, if you have all of the assets, it's easy to fix. It's a good solid map for a big city build with some Nordic style mountains. And if that's what you're looking for, you won't be disappointed. Right, okay, we are about at the end of the show, which means if you're still here, you're part of the 20 and out elite. Use the word of the day into the comments and score some population points just for fun. And I'll be back tomorrow with our Saturday map, and I have no idea what it's going to be like. So join me for some moderate surprise.